Hi Barbara, how's it going?
Hi, how are you? How are you? I'm good, and you?
Great, great, great. Can you imagine can you believe it? 6 months earlier we were in Egypt, and who would have thought we'd be doing a Zoom interview lockdown
Yeah,
at home?
yeah. I don't know, especially after this COVID, anything
Right.
can happen.
Unbelievable. Right. So we're here to talk about your basketball journey and how you got started. So why don't you tell us about your story?
So my name is Barbara. I was born in Spain. I have one sister and one brother,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been playing basketball for the past 15 years, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a big part of my life.
Great, great. So how did you get started with this basketball journey of yours?
Um, so I think I started playing when I was around 7, 8 in
Mm-hmm.
school. One of my best friends at the time, she was like older than me. She was kind of like my big sister, in school, and she was playing basketball. And I always thought, okay, that looked really cool, like why shouldn't I try it? And then like some of my classmates, girl classmates, were also there, so I was like, it's good entertainment. We had like time in the breaks during school. So I was like, why not? I can try it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just started playing.
Wow. And how long were you allowed to play in school, like during your breaks and stuff like that?
So because in school we had school like 9 to 5, and then we had like a 3 hour break in the middle. We had
3 hour
training.
break?
Yeah, it was hard. It was
What?
like so we were eating, we were having like lunch, and then
Right.
we were having also like 1 hour and a half, 2 hours of practice, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 times a week or 4 times a week, something like that.
Wow, that's incredible. And so, is this what the culture is in Spain? Like, is it a really sporting culture over there?
Um, I think yes. I think in Spain the sporting culture is pretty big. Especially I think men's football and also basketball. I think we are pretty known. Like last year, the men won the world championship
Right.
for basketball. I think yeah, we're good at like tennis also, and then we have some random sports like the world championship of badminton is Spanish, which
Right.
is a bit random.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
Rafa, Carolina Marin, all these incredible
yeah,
athletes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that in Spain, since we're kids, we are kind of drawn to sports and have the spirit of sports, competitiveness, and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh, so you're saying you're telling me earlier Fernando Alonso is from your region?
yeah, exactly. I was also
Wow.
yeah, he's Formula One championship, and he's actually from like 20 minutes away from me, so he's pretty like well known in our region. Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. So, yeah, I mean the culture is like really different in India. Does every girl start playing sports at such a young age?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, from my circle of friends, I know all of them played a sport when they were young. You had, sport lessons in school, and also I think that for our parents, like we are kids, it's
Right.
good to have something to do, to be entertained, and sports always teach you a lot of like lessons, like commitment since you're young, discipline. So I think for Spanish families, it's always a great choice to let your kids and your girls, play, because you're saying in India it's different.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit different. I mean, we don't have that many girls picking up sports, but yeah,
Hmm.
it is changing a bit right now. So
Uh-huh.
that's great. That's great. All right. So you started playing basketball at a young age, and then how do you go from there? What happened? Did you always dream of playing internationally?
Um, To be honest, not really. This is not like a dream story of like I
Mhm.
always believed in playing abroad or anything. Like
Right.
for me, I just have a really competitive spirit, and I always liked pushing myself. So since a young age, I started training with the boys teams also, and I was playing with the girls team, but like older than me. Like some categories above.
Right.
And then I kept playing, and And I just realized, okay, I am good at it, I like it, but I never thought of it as a professional thing. For me, it was more like a hobby, because in basketball,
Right.
in Spain is so big for women. You really have to be really, really good at it. You really
Right.
have to put a lot of effort. You have to have a lot of contacts. So for me, basketball is a hobby. It wasn't like a profession. And also, I think I remember one of my friends, her dad was also a basketball coach. So they were training every day really hard, like since a young age, like giving her guidance. But
Right.
for me, exactly, like my parents took it more as like a hobby. She's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to be pushed like a kid to become pro.
Right.
So I actually never thought I could play professional or play international at some point. It was more of a love for the game.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, what about you went to the UK to play basketball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, how was it there?
So my journey, basically, I turned 18 and I decided to take a gap year before going to university because I wasn't sure what I wanted to study. So I played in Germany for like 6 months, but just for fun, nothing. I was living in Germany at the time to learn German.
Okay.
And and then I decided I wanted to go to university in the UK, and I went to Essex University, which is pretty good for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, the UK basketball is still not a big thing right now, neither for men or women. They are investing a lot of money, many programs. They are also bringing like a lot of international players from US, Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But still in the UK, football is the main sport. So yeah, basketball is not such a big thing in the UK yet. But my program actually, like in Essex, the one I was in,
Right.
they are growing and growing and growing every year.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, yeah, you're talking about the tryouts in Essex and how you were not able to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, so my first year in uni, I knew Essex was kind of good at basketball, but I never went there because of basketball. It was more of a, let's say, academic
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Right.
So when I first got there, my first year, I went to the tryouts, but long before these tryouts, the team had already was set, because they went to see players in the US, they went to scout players in Greece, in Slovakia, they already had the team kind of together. So I had to stay in the second team for the first year. But I really, really wanted to be in the first team. Like I really wanted to be there and to play with international people and to have like a more like international perspective and play in different places in the UK.
Right.
So that year I really played like push myself a lot. I worked my ass off, to be honest. Like I was playing a lot, like trying to do my best.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily in the second year, the coach kind of recruited me
Wow.
to move up to the first team. And I've been the only one in this program that moves from the second team to the first team because, usually they already have the scouting, they already have chats with the players, they have contracts with them.
Right.
So feel really happy that he gave me the opportunity actually to join the first team. And that's how I started to play kind of professional.
Amazing. Amazing. So, how do you go from there? I mean, how was your training regime? And yeah, tell us.
Mm, so it grew in this last three years. It grew a lot, but our last year we were having like 3 or 4 gym sessions every week. We were having 2 7 a.m. practices. We were having 2 or 3 practices in the evening, and then we were having 2 games per week.
Right.
So usually we were having, let's say, 2 to 3 hours per day training, and then Sunday would be kind of our, resting day and everything. So it was really tough sometimes because you didn't give time for your body to recover and stuff in between practices, but it was really, really, like, you felt really good and you could see the progress, going from one game to the other.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hmm.
So, you also mentioned you had gone to Singapore for an exchange program or for basketball.
Okay, so actually I went just for exchange program first, just to to improve my academic standards, because the university I went to in Singapore was pretty good.
Right.
But once I was there, I like actually before I went to
Mm-hmm.
Singapore, I emailed the coach and I said, look, I have been playing in the UK. I want to make it to the team. I want to get to know you, blah blah, because I
Right.
for me basketball is important. So once I moved to Singapore, I went to the tryouts. Also, they were pretty tough, and I was the only exchange student.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else was Singaporean, and my coach was Chinese, and he didn't speak any English.
Oh.
So yeah, it was kind of a challenge. But I became the starting five. I started helping my team a lot. Even though it was hard sometimes to communicate, we won all the titles, and it was really, really good for me because I kind of started getting confidence and having the possibility of playing more and everything. And also because in Southeast Asia basketball is kind of big.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing basketball outside, because in Singapore also you have good weather, so we were playing outside every day. We had a expats team, like from all the European countries, and we were playing against local people, and it was really amazing. Like, I was the only girl
Mm-hmm.
playing there.
Wow.
So it was really good for me because the men usually they're sometimes more tough, and I learn a lot
Yeah.
to become stronger and to believe in myself,
Mm-hmm.
and to try to also become like a, let's say, a little role model, for other girls that were seeing me, that they would be like, okay, I can also do this.
Definitely, definitely. That's amazing.
Mm.
Usually, girls they don't they like to play only amongst girls, and yeah, I mean I've seen that about you. Even in Egypt, you're the only one of the few who is playing beach basketball with us and stuff. So that's
Yeah, and beach volleyball and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
beach volleyball. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, like because in Singapore I had a few stories actually where I came to the court and then some guy was like, oh, but you're actually playing, I thought you just came to watch. And I was like,
wow.
no, I'm actually playing,
Right.
and I had so many kind of small arguments with some guys about this, and it's not easy sometimes.
Right, right, definitely. But it's great, like you help to change the perception because
Yeah, I hope so, because sometimes I think that words are hard because you can say a lot but you don't do anything. But when you are playing basketball and you are showing other women, okay, I'm doing this, you can do this, I think that can encourage other women to also be like, okay, I can join you, I can also do it.
definitely, definitely. So, what were some of your best wins and titles? Yeah.
So two of my best wins I remember a lot. One was last year actually.
Mm-hmm.
It was the university league, and we needed to win the game to go to the semifinals.
Right.
And it was actually in Wales, like 5 hours by bus at 7 p.m. Like really, really tough.
Mm-hmm.
You're already tired from the journey. You need
Right.
to eat in the bus. It's not comfortable. But we really came out there and we smashed it. Like, we were tight the whole game. I remember, like, up and down, up and down, and then in the last second,
Mm-hmm.
my teammate scored a 3-pointer. But, like, I don't know if you've seen the Kawhi Leonard 3-pointer that it kind of like hit the rim like 3 times and then it
Oh
went
yes, yes,
inside.
yes.
Yeah. So it was literally like the same kind of shot. So we were all like just waiting there, and it was so amazing. Like, we were jumping and running, and we just played so good, like, as a team. And I remember that was actually, I think, my best game in the whole season. Like, I felt so happy how we were playing as a team, and with myself, how much had grew, through
Mm-hmm.
that year, because I was never a starting player in the UK. I
Right.
was never the main player. So, but in that game, my coach really, he trusted me a lot, and it was so good. But it was so funny because we were so tired after the game. We wanted to celebrate, but even in the bus, we just fell asleep on the way back.
Wow. Wow. It must have been
Yeah,
an incredible moment. I can.
yeah, it was really
So,
amazing.
do
And
you know,
then tell
yeah.
me, tell me.
No, are there a lot of crowds for these games?
Not really. I think that's something we struggled with, and we were trying to improve throughout the year. And we
Mm-hmm.
had like a social media team. We
Mm-hmm.
were trying to give flyers. Actually, for the semi-final game, I created like a Facebook event,
Wow.
invited everyone. Yes, because that was a big problem actually. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the UK, it's not so popular basketball. We had a huge arena, like really big arena, but not enough people to come watch.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the game, it's always good to have people to
Absolutely.
feel like you have people supporting you.
Yeah, I mean,
um
especially, I mean, when we watch the NBA, we know like the home support is such a big advantage for the players, right?
mhm, mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that even in the UK, you could see that for men basketball, it was way more crowd than for women basketball. But I think throughout the year, we kind of managed to get more people involved, more girls involved, so
That's great.
yeah.
So yeah, another one of your experiences winning, a title or any great matches you've had.
Yeah, it was also, this was when I was, I think, 16 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we went into the final four games to play. So you play the final four, and then the winner of this final four goes into the Spanish championship
Right.
for regions, for different regions.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we were not a great team individually. Like, we had good individual players, but we were really good collectively because we had been playing together for maybe 8 years or 9 years.
Right.
So we had, a good chemistry between us, and we trusted each other a lot. So in the end, we only took the third spot, so we couldn't go to the Spanish kind of competition. But for us to get there and to win the last game, to get into the third spot as a team together, it was so important, because after that we were going to separate, because some people were going to university, some people were moving to another places, and it was such an important game for us, and to play together, to trust each other, to win for our coach, because he put
Right.
so much into it. Like, we didn't have enough funding, we didn't have scholarships, everything was paid
Mm-hmm.
by kind of us. Even our coach was kind of not even paid that much, it was more of a love for the game again.
Right.
So it was so good to win. And then I remember we were waiting him in the locker room to, like, we put him under the shower. We were all showering, throwing water at each other, and just kind of thanking him for all the years that we've been playing together.
Right. Right. Wow. What an incredible experience. Mhm.
Mm.
So, how much focus and concentration goes into this?
A lot. A lot. Like, really, it's,
Mhm.
it's incredible. Because when you play, like, at a high level, you kind of organize your life around basketball.
Definitely.
When you're going to meet your friends, when you will study, when you're going to see your family, everything. You first organize basketball, and then the rest.
Right.
So, mentally, you need to be really engaged, you need to be organized, you need to kind of have a structure in your life.
Mhm.
And you need to also, when being in the game,
Right.
focus and concentration is so important, because you need to react quickly to all the situations. You don't have so much time to think, because
Right.
everything is fast, 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 like fast paced.
Right.
So you need to previously practice a lot this concentration and this focus throughout your practices, throughout the gym, throughout, I don't know, meditation, everything. So when you're in the performance, when you are in the game, you can perform at your best, without almost thinking, just acting on the instinct that you've previously created.
Right.
So this focus and concentration is the most important thing, and that's something that I learned through basketball, and it's amazing because you can later apply it to anything, you know, to studies, to your life in general, you know, meditation, yoga, everything. So I think focus and concentration is key.
Of course, of course. So, how has basketball changed your life?
uh, it has changed my life a lot.
Mhm.
And I think everything is in a positive way, you know, because I was able to travel, you know, UK, Singapore, China. I was able to meet people from every corner of the world, you know, with so many different backgrounds, and in a way you connect with them, you know, because when you win, when you lose, when you train every day, you create develop a different relationship with this person, you know, and usually it's long lasting because you are sharing all of your moments with this person.
Right.
And then also, you know, thanks to basketball, you know, you learn discipline, commitment, accountability to your teammates and to yourself also, you know, because you have some values, you have some morals when you play, and you have to be accountable to them.
Def-
So, and also you become stronger mentally but also physically, you know, because you realize, okay, my mind and my body connection is really important, and you need to take care of it, not just because of basketball but for everything else, to have a healthy lifestyle and to feel good about yourself,
Right.
you know. So basketball, it's really like, it's one of the best things that happened to me.
That's great. That's great. Um, so then, why aren't many people taking up sports? Why aren't they pursuing sports? What are some of the reasons you feel?
um so I think one of the first reasons I thought of, when you ask me this question, is family. I think, you know, because for example, if you don't have a family or a father or a mother or a brother or cousin or something, you know, that plays sport, or that, you know, you can set up as your example to play the sport, mm, usually you don't take it into account, or you don't think it's the main part of your life, you know. For me, like, my dad played football for his entire life and was a coach and everything. My mom also, she loves hiking, so, you know, for me sport was always something that I kind of caught on since an earlier life.
Right.
So I think family plays a part, and also for women, I think it has to do also because there's not enough role models, and there's a lot of stereotypes, you know, regarding women in sport. Like,
Right.
since a young age, you know, you go to the playground and you see the boys are playing football, the girls are playing with dolls, and, you know, that's what kind of society has kind of stated, you know.
Mhm.
And it's kind of sad because, you know, we all have different individual tastes. For me, when I was a kid, I liked to play with sport cars, I like to play basketball, but I also like to play with dolls, you know.
Right.
So I think kind of trying to understand that everyone has individual choices is important.
Mhm.
But I think that is changing. I think that this is changing. The media is starting to portray more and more women in sport, and I think we're trying to change these stereotypes. But of course, it's a kind of a long process, I think.
Definitely, definitely. But yeah, that's great. I mean, it's great that women are getting more attention when it comes to sport. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
social media, Instagram, Facebook have changed the game basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So, how is women's basketball doing in European countries?
I think Europe women's basketball is pretty big actually. Like, for example, the past European Championship in Spain, they showed it in the national TV, so everyone was able to watch it. And then also a lot of famous women have started to speak up about this discrimination, about the differences in salaries.
Right,
So, you know, it's kind of a wake up call for a lot of people that use social media to support women's basketball, you know.
right,
But I always remember, like, you know, when I wanted to watch women's basketball on TV, it was impossible. Like, you always had like third division men football
right,
in, I don't know, whatever country. But if you wanted to watch your national women's basketball team, it was impossible, you know.
right.
So but I think it's getting better, and people are starting to speak up, and there's I think the government is starting to put a lot of projects in place in communities you know, encourage women to play, to, you know, even in our university, we had
Mm-hmm.
like kind of two of my teammates every week, they were going to schools and they were going to explain, to talk about basketball, about the program, about women, about encouraging girls. And then once a month they were coming to our gym and
Right.
we were playing kind of basketball with them, and, you know, kind of encouraging more people to come to play. So I think it's becoming better and better, the popularity.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, um, how does one make it to the top? Can you give us some guidance?
Um, for me, I think it's hard work, mentoring, and a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one hand, I think you will never be able to make it big all by yourself. You know, you always need guidance from people around you, from you know, role models, people, older people that can coach you and mentor you to make right decisions and to help you in the process. Because sometimes when you're young, you need some guidance. You know. And also, good thing about social media is you can connect and follow so many top athletes, and see their routines, what they are doing, what they have done to be where they are, you know. So I think, you can take it as your guidance, and I think that's important. But from an individual side, I think consistency and hard work, but mainly to be consistent, because, you know, you can't train like, let's say, one day 5 hours, the next day one, don't train for 3 days. You know,
Right.
that's not going to work. Your body is not going to react good, and you will not develop the discipline that you need in the future for whatever game, you know.
So
So
true.
you need to also try to push yourself, question yourself, um, on everything you do on the court. Okay, you know, I'm good at shooting threes. Okay, but what can I do better? What am I excelling at? You know, because at the end of the day, you need to try to improve and focus on your strengths and your weaknesses, and you always try to, okay, I'm good at shooting threes, I need to become the best at shooting threes, you know. And of course you need to be a round player, but you need to make sure that you know yourself and you have self-awareness of your strengths, and that you are consistent with it, you know.
Right. 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 Thank you. Thank you for that. So, someone who hasn't played a sport, hasn't played basketball in their entire life, and they've heard your interview, they want to know how they can get started. Uh, what is the right age, and what advice do you have for women who want to take up basketball?
Mm, I think that you should, every woman, maybe you should try to go to your local community center, to your school. Always try to bring a friend with you, maybe, because, you know, whenever you involve people that you love and people that you care about, you will stick to the whatever you're doing more easily, you know, because you will always be looking forward to go, because, you know, you always have someone next to you supporting you, and it's like you are going to start building friendships. You will be kind of, like, say, addicted to the game because of how fast you improve physically, because, you know, you feel good physically with your body, but also because of the connection that you're building
Right.
personally. So I think this connection personally at first is important, because if you don't have that, if you don't have something that will push you, maybe you won't come back. Maybe you go one time, but then you never go again, you know.
Right.
And also, I think watching a lot of videos on internet, follow sports athletes and web pages on Twitter and Instagram, I think that will also encourage you to become better. And YouTube has a lot of great content with videos about women talking about basketball, but not even just basketball, any sport someone would wants to pursue, you know. You have all the content that you want in YouTube. You just need to be curious to search for it, you know.
Definitely.
And regarding the ideal age, I don't think anyone should worry too much. I'm too old, I'm too young, you know. I
Hmm.
have friends that started playing professional 25, 20, others that started playing just with their school with 7 years old. You just need to put in the work and just enjoy the process. You know, you can't just focus on the end result, like, okay, I want to become a pro at 20. No, because you never know, you know, because you never know what can happen through their journey. And, you know, your life will be miserable if you only focus on the end result. You
Right.
need to enjoy your process, see how you can you know, get there, but not rush, because you just want to become a pro. You know, it will take time, and it will take a lot of physical and mental work. So little by little, you know.
Definitely, definitely. Totally agree with you. Um, Barbara, what are you up to now? What have you been doing now?
So I stopped basketball last year when I graduated from university.
Right.
Well, I'm still playing right now, but not like professional.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm working in Luxembourg, in a little country in Europe,
Right.
in a real estate investment fund because
Mm-hmm.
I studied economics. And I'm still playing basketball, of course. I joined like the moment I arrived here, I already had a team before I came here because I called them on the phone and I was like, I want to join your team.
Right.
And so I'm still playing here. Now with COVID is a bit complicated, but I even during confinement, I bought a basketball and I went by myself, try to train once a week, twice a week by myself, you know. So basketball still plays a really important role in my life, but not as my living, let's say. And yeah.
That's great. That's all right. I mean, as long as you've played basketball at such a high level, and now you still have it as a hobby. You can still compete at some of the other leagues. They make.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
exactly. For me, it's about competition, about teamwork, about meeting people from different backgrounds, you know, and kind of understanding their perspective in basketball.
right, right, right. That's great. Barbara, thank you so much for this interview and for sharing your experiences and advice with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really, it was really nice talking to you, and hopefully we can see each other again in Egypt at some point.
Hopefully, Egypt or Luxembourg or Spain, who knows?
Of course, you're more than welcome.
So, where can people find you if they want to get in touch for any reason? They need help or they want to get in touch with you. Where can they find you?
Sure. Just let you know, guys. Anyone can contact me. I'm more than happy to talk to everyone. I think, as I said, guidance is important. So if you have any questions, please just contact me. And I mean, my LinkedIn is Barbara Ojeda Corominas. I don't know, it's hard to spell, but
I'll write it on the show notes anyway.
yeah, I think. And then Instagram, Facebook is the same, and my email also. You can just write it there, and anyone can contact me. Feel free.
Great, wonderful. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.